It is time for another episode of Ask Mac. Got a lot of questions. Super excited to be here. Fire right away. First question comes from Peter. Mac, what attracts you to a game? That is actually a pretty easy question. For me, the best thing about a game is a narrative. I could care less about the competitive elements. What I want is a story. I want a piece of a world that I can just start building off of and create my own narrative and write my own story and build my own tables that tell part of that story, kind of take ownership in it. That's the thing I look for the most, is a game that has a really good story. Next question is from Tom. Tom asks, what's a good way to choose color schemes for a mini? Wow, that is a loaded question, big time, Tom. That's probably a question better left to Adam at Invisible Hand Studios, but I will do my best to answer that. What I tell my kids all the time when they paint is this: the only person that has to like your models is you. So you pick whatever colors you think look good, whatever is going to appeal to your sensibilities, what's going to look good on the table to your eye, regardless of what anybody else thinks about it. If you're playing 40K and you want to paint your ultramarines purple because you think it looks good, brother, you have just created the first purple chapter of ultramarines, and you've done a fantastic job. Other than that, I don't think there's really any sort of formula for how you're going to pick a color. It's got to be what you like. That's just what it's got to be. Seth asks, do you prefer games with custom dice or regular game dice? So custom dice like X-Wing, Rumble Slam, games like that, or just regular dice? Honestly, I don't really care. I like that the custom dice these days have changed. You don't just see a D6 in a custom dice. X-Wing, Attack Wing, they all had the D8 style, and I like that. And Rumble Slam has D6, Bot War has a D6. So I don't really care one way or the other. I like it all. I tend to see the custom dice games more as beer and pretzel kind of games, but I like them both. Only downside to the custom dice games is you have to buy the dice for that game. Second part of Seth's question is, which generic dice system do I like best? Meaning not custom dice, just the stuff that all of us have 6,000 different types of dice for. So far, I've got two particular generic dice systems that I really like. And one of them is from Twisted, because they use the whole gamut of your regular RPG dice from your D4 up to your D20 and all the dice in between there. And I really like that mechanic. And the other one that I like is a little bit of a mix of custom dice and generic dice, and that's Freeblades. So Freeblades also uses your D4 up to your D20, but they have some extra ones in there that are a little atypical for RPG groups. So they have stuff like D16s, D30s, and I think that those are really cool too, because it kind of broadens what you're rolling, and it makes it kind of fun. Those would be the two generic dice systems that I kind of like the best right now. That will change, I'm sure. Eric asks, when you prime your little dudes for painting, your little dude, in case you needed clarification, do I go black or white? I usually go white 99% of the time. Sometimes I do black depending on what I'm trying to achieve with my colors. Primarily, I'm a white primer kind of guy. He also asks in the second part of his question, spray or brush on? That depends. If I have a big chunk of guys I gotta do, I'll go out in the backyard with a rattle can and I'll just spray them all down to get them all ready and get them primered. If I'm sitting at my desk and I'm kind of plugging through 3 or 4 minis, I'll use the brush on surface primer. Kind of use a little bit of everything. There is an extra part to that question I want to address too, though, as opposed to black and white. Sometimes I like to go for gray for a nice neutral sort of base without getting my colors too dark with the black or too vibrant with the white. So there you go. And last question for today, with everyone staying at home, what's your favorite solo game? And this one comes from Discover Games. And the answer to that question is, I've kind of been creating my own solo stuff for the games that I love. I've run a couple of solo games of Twisted. I'm getting ready to get some Core Space on the table, which has a solo mechanic in it already. So those two are kind of what I'm zeroing in on. But there's so much more too. Rangers of Shadow Deep has a great solo mechanic. Not there yet, haven't played it, but lots of really cool stuff out there. But for me, that push right now is Twisted. The next step I'm going to do is I'm going to work on a solo for the Drowned Earth, because that's the game we're pushing right now. So that's all the time I got for the questions. I'm going to have more questions for you in the next episode, guys. Go to the Discover Games Facebook page. Click the like button there so that you can follow what's going on there. Click the like button here. Subscribe. Hit the little notification button there in the corner. And most importantly, don't forget, throw your questions in the comments section, or when you see the link on the Discover page or the Coastal Con page, you can ask your questions there too. We'll be looking for them. I'll write them down in a notebook, and I will catch you guys next time.